Thanks everyone for coming out. We're joined by head coach Shannon Welker and graduate Grace Ann Davis, sophomore Kaia Tanskanen. Coach, why don't you start us with an opening statement?
Yeah, excited to see everyone here. It must mean gymnastics season is upon us. So we're pretty pumped to not only see all of you, but we're also excited to be in our new home. So and with these two fine representatives of Mizzou gymnastics. But we're excited for the season. What a great opportunity to follow up, a fantastic year last year and continue that standard moving into 2026.
Awesome. We'll open with questions.
Shannon, how did the move to Mizzou Arena come around? What was the demand that you saw that made you guys want to shift from Hearn Center to Mizzou Arena?
Yes, I mean, it's been an ongoing process, quite honestly. I mean, this is something we have been striving for probably almost 10 years, quite honestly. So I think we just had to have, enough of a track record of success, along with partnering with some great administrators and some people that saw the vision that we saw. I think, this standard of facility is what we see in the SEC, quite honestly, week in and week out. And I think our athletic director recognized that and felt like this was the right time to make that move. And so we're excited to be here, and we're obviously grateful to our basketball coaches for helping us kind of figure out how we could get this done as well. So,
just as a quick thought, on the back of the season that you all had last year, do you see it as kind of a symbolic step for the program, making the move across the street, I guess?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think it signifies a lot of things, hopefully, to not only our sports media people and honestly our current team, but our alums, and I think the people in the town, the city of Columbia, and recruits too, quite honestly. I think we're looking for investments. And I think in our program, I think this is a time and we're seeing this separation, not just in gymnastics, but I think we're seeing it in sports across the country, right? Like, there's people that can compete and teams that can compete, and there's teams that are going to struggle. And I think they need those investments, and this was a huge investment for our program, so we're excited about this.
So given the end result from last year's success, how do you kind of keep the team from getting too focused on the end result and just kind of stay in the present?
Yeah, that's a good question. I think we got to start with our coaches, right? So we got to make sure that they're focused on, process. And I think we talk about it all the time, and that's something we hammer home with our own team is the process. Like, the scores and the outcomes, those will take care of themselves if you're doing a good job day to day and making sure that you're doing all those things that got you to this point in the first place. And so I think we just keep going back to that and those things. And doesn't mean that it's not challenging, but we do try to stay focused on those from day to day, and that'll help get us where we need to go.
And based on the first inner squad that you had and what you've seen practice so far, what kind of improvements do you see on each of the events?
Yeah, excited to see where we started and where we're at this point. Obviously we lost some great routines from last year, but we've got some really great routines. They just need some development and some experience, or just getting back from kind of a year's hiatus as well, right? But so I think the last intra squad that I saw, I was really pleased with some development there, and I actually walked away from that intra squad pleased with what I saw versus maybe what I thought we were going to see, and so that was a positive right there. Event wise, I think we're seeing a lot of people on a lot of different events step up. I think from a vault aspect, I think we were returning some good ones from last year. I think Elise Tisler's made a lot of improvements on control, so I think we'll see that 1.5 that she's doing. That'll be back to where I feel like it was at the beginning of last season and where it's going to be this year. I think we're seeing Kaia's going to make hopefully a nice change. We got a little bit of a different vault on a front handspring pike front half that's going to look nice. I would look, Rayleigh Jackson has made some nice strides in the last week or so. We were trying to get that 1.5 going at the beginning of last year, and I think she's really been much more consistent this year. So I think that's going to be exciting. I think Olivia Kelly's got an opportunity to make some strides over there. So just you're going to see a lot of new people this year on that event, which I think on many events. Bars were looking good. Michaela Green's looking good over there. Hannah Horton's, she's going to score a 10 this year. mark my word, I think that's going to happen this year. So, but I think we have a lot of people stepping up over there. Kamara Eccles looks really good on that event. You know, beam wise, I think that's our deepest event is beam this year. I think we've got, you know, obviously getting Grace Ann back and getting Lauren back. Those were two strong beam workers for us, and they're back, and so I think they're looking really good over there. So that should be exciting. You know, in floor, I think we look pretty solid there across the board. So we're, you know, a lot of good contributions. I think Sarah Wabi is going to be big over there for us. You know, obviously Kaia is one of our better floor workers, so we're excited about her. And so should be solid. So, you know, it's going to just be a lot of new faces this year, quite honestly, but some exciting ones.
Grace Ann, where have you seen this team improve the most over the course of your tenure here, being here 5 years?
That's a good question. I feel like a lot of it has been like the culture and how we participate and interact with each other every day. Just with like how we support each other in the gym and out of the gym. We see each other as humans and not just as athletes, which I think is a key component with a sport like gymnastics where it is so enticing mentally. But I think another thing is just like our expectations. We don't really view ourselves as underdogs. I think when I came in originally, my class helped kind of set us up for success, and with Amari and Jossie and all of us coming in, it helped elevate the program, but we were still seen as kind of missing a couple pieces or underdogs in the SEC. And I feel like slowly as we came to like our senior year, and especially this year, I can see where we don't really have that mindset. If we want it, we're going to go out and get it, which is a nice change to see.
And Grace Ann, can you kind of take us through your decision to come back for another year?
Yeah. So it was a really hard decision, actually. I know exactly what I want to do with my career, and you know, with gymnastics, it's hard on your body, and so it was kind of like figuring out, well, what should I do in that situation? And so it was right before senior night. I went to Shannon's office. I was like, I think I want to take a fifth year, and he was kind of like, are you sure? Because I'm just kind of one of those people that like, I don't really seem like excited at first. It's kind of just like, well, this is what I want to do, but I'm just like deciphering it as I'm saying it. And so I think he was confused because he was like, I don't know if this kid actually wants it. And then I think I was also like, I don't know if I want it either. Because like I had a career set up. Like I was super excited to enter the medical device field. And you know, with my Achilles, I had a very interesting perspective on that. And so I kind of sat there and I was like, okay, well, what would I want to do if I came back? And, you know, he kind of went through like the pros and cons. He was like, well, what if you don't make a lineup? What if, you know, it doesn't go perfectly? What if you don't get this, this, and this? And it really didn't matter at the end of the day because all I wanted to do was just see how much I could contribute. And whether that's on an event or just being a better teammate every day and boosting this program in any way that I can, that's kind of how I made my decision. And so when we got back from nationals, we sat down. I remember I was sitting in the office with Shannon Whitney, and he was like, so are you sure you want to do this? And I was like, yeah, I think so. I know I want to. And he was like, well, why? And so I talked about, I just want to contribute. And it doesn't even have to be on an event. At the end of the day, I think there are ways that you can be a part of a team, whether you're in a lineup or not. Mm-hmm. And so he was like, all right, then welcome back. I was like, yay. So that's kind of what the process was. It was really hard. It's difficult taking a fifth year, even like a sixth year for Lauren. You know, you're putting a lot on your body and also on your mind, but also it's something that I love. I love doing it. I'm happy to be here.
So is beam going to be your primary focus, you think?
Yes. Just with, you know, the bones. I am 22. It requires a lot of you, and, you know, we tried coming back on vault, and, you know, it wasn't perfect, and sometimes you just have to know when to let stuff go, and Shannon over here worked with me, and he was like, you know, I think it's, I was like, yeah, you know, that's okay. Because sometimes that's just how it is, and I really love beaming, so it's been great, and I'm a one-eventer right now.
Now, Grace Ann makes it sound like we didn't want her back. Don't believe that. We did. I think we just want to make sure that they're making it for the right decisions,
yes.
Right? Because the expectations go up, it gets harder, and we just, you know, just sometimes it's, we want to decipher between what I do and what I want to do, right? And so, you know, a lot of these young ladies have been doing gymnastics or their sports for a long time. So we just want to make sure that they're making the decisions for the right reasons because they really love it and they want to do it, not just because it's what they know. Yeah. And clearly, Grace Ann made the right decision. So there
I never thought that they didn't want me back.
Kaia, what went behind the decision to change your vault? I know you have 3 10.0 vaults to choose from.
Yeah, I think over the summer we really wanted to work on that Yurchenko 1.5 and get that. Also, it would help my elite D score anyway. So I think we really honed in on trying to get that 1.5 or the Yurchenko in general. But I do have kind of a mental block on it a little bit because I did have an injury on that 1.5. So I think that's what was really holding me back. So Shannon and I were talking back and forth about, okay, what are the options? And so I think we worked on doing that front handspring vault again because I had done it in previous years when he was recruiting me, and then he was like, okay, maybe let's try this vault again. So we tried it and it's going good. So I'm just ready to try a new vault and see how it goes this year.
It seemed like you had a pretty busy off season. I guess it seemed like you were all over the place. How's that kind of prepared you? Where all were you, and then how's that kind of prepared you for this upcoming season?
So right after the national championships for the collegiate season, I flew like a week later to Finland for the Finnish championships, and then stayed there until European championships, which is in Germany. And then there was a few weeks break or a month or so for the World Challenge Cup in Paris, which I ended up getting bronze on floor. And then that set me up good for Worlds, and I just had Worlds in Indonesia and just came back a few weeks ago. And I think just not really necessarily having like a full off season. I still get a break and stuff, yes, but I think it has prepared me like going into this college season just because I have stayed in shape, I have had those routines, and the elite routines do have more skills that I have to do versus a college routine. So I think it has set me up better going into this year. I think for my freshman year, it definitely was a challenge for both me and the coaching staff, learning how to balance both at the same time. But I think now that we have gone through that process, it has helped me and them a lot going into this season. So I think doing it has definitely helped prepare me.
What is your time off kind of look like? I mean, you just got back a few weeks ago. What's your kind of timetable to get back into the Mizzou?
Yeah, so I did have a smaller, like a month break after European, so there was a break right there, and then again after World Championships I came back in. I ended up tearing my fingernail off, so it's been a blessing in disguise. I've had like a 3-week break now, so here was my break. But yeah, now I'm gonna start ramping back into things for this college season.
How was the finger injury?
It's good. I just got my stitches out today, so we're good to go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You can imagine getting your fingernail ripped out. Like,
Yeah.
and then just keep going, right? So just a level of toughness, right? That's impressive. But it actually worked out, so her down cycle is kind of right now. So not that we wanted her to have a fingernail issue, but it actually worked out well. And so we'll start ramping Kaia up here probably in the next few days and just starting her build on the back end. But she'll get ready a little quicker since she had the off season right there, or had the competitive season right there. But 15th in the world, right? That's pretty impressive. And so I think that says a lot about not only Kaia, but also kind of the relationship that our coaching staff and then her elite coach, which is her mom as well, we have, and kind of that getting her ready, and then her mom kind of finishes getting her ready on that end, and then just the determination that takes to do that solo is pretty impressive. So.
And then Kaia, what are some of your personal goals for the season?
For the collegiate season is definitely to compete in the all-around. I would love to get on all the events and go out there and contribute to the team and help the team as much as I can. And then also getting All-American would be really cool. And then as a team going to NCAAs again.
Coach, I guess having a top 10 signing class for like 2 times in the past 3 years, what's kind of that process like to have that, just to kind of maintain that level of consistency and that success?
Yeah, it's great. I mean, I think the ability for us to sign and get those commitments at that level on a fairly consistent basis now, I mean, I think that's a lot of progress right there, quite honestly. And so that was really impressive. I mean, we had the number 5 young lady in the country that signed in that class right there, and we beat out some impressive schools for some of those last couple of 5-stars that we got. So it's definitely a little bit of, it's almost just pressure for us or competition for us. That's the competitive area that most coaches will tell you. Part of it's on the field room, on the gym, and then the other part's in the recruiting room right there. And so, but I think it's exciting, quite honestly, that we're able to attract that level of student athlete, to come to the University of Missouri. And I think that's just a big sign of progress and excitement for things to come.
Got time for one more? Awesome.
Great.
Thanks,
Thank you
guys.
guys, appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you.